Hello there everybody, it is that time again. It is time to look down a massive list of changes and additions to Team Fortress 2 that have come in the latest update, the Gun Mettle update, which came out, I suppose, a couple nights ago, but it's taken me forever to make this video. So let's get started with it. There's been a hell of a lot added into this game, some of which people are a bit worried about, some of which not so much. I can't speak still, but I'm going to try and get through this and go over most of what this awesome update has added, because I'm really excited to keep playing what's in this. So let's get started, shall we? So this is the Gun Mettle update. This adds a lot of actually really cool new stuff. I'm just going to read down here. The Gun Mettle campaign. You can get contracts now. You can buy a campaign pass, which I've already done, which basically just unlocks a bunch of, like, every week you get some contracts, which are basically challenges, and you get contract points for that. So it'd be like the one that I've got is the spy, kill an engineer or something, or do some stuff as a spy, some general spy stuff. You get contract points, and once you have enough, you can unlock a campaign exclusive weapon or an unlockable weapon case. As you can see, I still can't speak, but I'm quite excited for this. Basically, the biggest thing that I could really say is this update is customized weapons. Say customized, apparently each weapon is painted uniquely, so nobody will have two of the same kind of weapon, but we'll see about that. So that's pretty crazy. I'm just looking forward to doing the contracts mainly. The contracts look like they could be fun and add a bit of fresh sort of perspective. And you know, everybody likes to be rewarded for doing things. So it's like, you know, you buy the thing and now you get contracts, you complete that, and then you can get a cool new weapon. It's like MVM, but on a smaller scale. You don't have to like spend 1,000 fucking hours just like going over the same freaking maps in MVM to hopefully get a really cool Australian, which I wouldn't really know about. I don't have enough friends to play MVM and really care about. So right here is where I actually pick up somebody else's customized weapon they got from a contract. It's not bad looking. I mean, you know, it's pretty cool. You can inspect it, so you know you take a good look at the weapon that you've worked so hard to achieve in getting, like I did, just pressing like whatever the button was to pick it up off the ground. But it's pretty cool, you know. I mean, you go about doing a contract, maybe you get something like this. It's like, yeah, you could be like, this is my gun now. It just adds more of a, you know, fashion show to what is already Team Fortress 2. But moving on to the next part, the part that you generally expect in most updates, whether it's community maps or Valve-made maps, it's, as I've already said, maps. So the first of the newly added maps into the game is CP Powerhouse, which is described as the densely packed, fast-paced powerhouse is TF2's first 3-point CP map. Commit wasteful crimes against nature in the environmentally conscious shadow of a clean, renewable energy source. So I like this map. It reminds me kind of TC Hydro. I suppose that's kind of what they were sort of going for. Maybe it's just this whole. I just like this whole kind of nature, but industrial as well. I like these kinds of maps. So I didn't get to go too far into this map as it's kind of well, really big from the looks of it anyway. But I'm liking it. There's me just messing around with some of the contract stuff, trying to remember what's what in this massive freaking update. But I'm really liking Powerhouse. I need to play it some more. I just like how it looks. It seems like it's going to have a lot of sneaky tunnels, which is pretty common, really. You know, where you could just flank somebody from across, God knows where. You could just come out of friggin' from the ceiling. I love it. Next up is Payload Borneo, a map that's been around for quite a long time, that's pretty popular amongst competitive play. I really like this map, especially I love to see more community maps getting added into the game to be put up on standard Valve servers. I'm really liking this map mainly just because of its look. I love the kind of fogginess that's in the background and the trees, the whole greenness of it. I love these kinds of maps. So, I mean, as a map itself as well, I'm liking it. There's a lot of good places you could rocket jump, but I'm not too good about actually talking about the maps itself. Maybe there could be a couple more places where you can kind of like flank the enemy, come around the sides, but I still need to play the map a bit more to get a proper opinion on it. But I'm liking it so far. It's probably I think it's too early to say what my favourite of these maps are. I've not played the others quite enough yet, but I'm liking Borneo. Okay, next is Snowplow, which is an interesting map. I mean, the design of the map doesn't interest me that much. I mean, I like snow, but it's pretty generic looking for TF2. This kind of map, but I think I've only just really understood how the game mode works, and it's quite interesting. It's kind of attack defense, kind of CP. The blue team has their train they have to send over to the red team's base. Red have to deploy obstacles or something, which blue have to get rid of by taking the points. And every 30 seconds that red keeps the blue from taking the point, then the train gets hit by something which reduces its health. You can see there it says 40%. Once it gets down to 0, red team wins. Which is interesting, you know. I don't know if there's been any other maps like this, I've not really been paying attention, but I at least like the, now that I understand it, I like the objective of this map. It seems quite cool and new. As for the map itself, it doesn't interest me that much, but I mean, it's not horrible. So, Snowplow, probably not my, it's probably my least favourite out of the 4 new maps, but I need to still play it, but I don't know, it's not that bad. Who knows? I like Snowplow, kinda. And finally we have King of the Hill Suijin. Now if we're talking about fashion, then this is definitely my favourite map of the 4 new maps, because look at it, it's just beautiful. I love this map. And it's King of the Hill as well, which is my second favourite game mode after Payload. And so this is just brilliant. I love to see another King of the Hill map put in, because it's King of the Hill's like the perfect kind of one to just sort of mess around with if you don't really care too much about winning and you don't really want to be a team player, you're just gonna run around and just play the game, just get kills, then King of the Hill's great for that. I'm guilty of just playing that game mode way too freaking much. So it's good to see another map, because Harvest, Lakeside, I've spent way too many hours on those maps. And so, you know, if I'm going to spend the rest of my life playing fucking King of the Hill, it may as well be on a really awesome looking map like this. So I love this. It looks like it's going to be a great map for soldiers and demo men to just like jump up around here, get onto the rooftops and everything. And I don't know, I'm really excited to try this map out some more. Okay, moving on to the weapon changes part of this update is what I always find is the most interesting, seeing how weapons already in the game are going to be changed, and it may well change how everybody plays the game entirely. Guess we'll see. Since there was like tons of weapon changes in this update, I obviously can't go over them all, but some of the ones that really stood out to me, one being the Dead Ringer. Obviously Dead Ringer was a very powerful item for Spy, but that's been, I mean, I don't play Spy a whole lot, but even I can tell this is a pretty big change for him. Main thing being is that after 3 seconds, the Spy is just under normal invisible conditions. No longer you can run around 65% damage resistance and like no shimmer or anything. You'll be shimmering if you're bumped into a shot, which that alone, you know, up to 7 seconds, you know, after the 3 seconds, you're just normal invisible Spy basically. That's a big thing. And you can no longer pick up ammo for your cloak while you're cloaked with the Dead Ringer. So you can't just extend your time, you know, if you know where all the ammo pickups are. Big thing, those more changes to that, but I don't want to have this go on forever, me talking about the Dead Ringer. But pretty big, significant changes to the Dead Ringer. Guess we'll see just how much that screws people up, especially in like, I don't know how much they use that in competitive, I wouldn't really know. Moving on to mini sentries. Now, I personally detest mini sentries, but this is kind of nerf buff stuff. They can now be repaired, so I'm scared to see if people use Rescue Ranger and repair mini sentries from across the map, but regardless of that, it seems that lock and load and direct hit is still the way to go in countering mini sentries. Mini sentry can now be wrench construction boosted. They will build slower by themselves, but if they're being boosted, they will go faster than they previously did. And I guess like their health kind of, it starts off with 50% health on construction and gain health during construction instead of starting at 100%. So maybe you could even destroy it just straight up with a normal rocket once it's been placed down. Who knows? And the metal gifts from destroyed mini sentries will no longer grant any metal. So that's some interesting changes, so it's kind of nerf slash buff. I'm interested to see how fighting mini sentries is going to be now, but I'm probably still going to hate it. Moving on to the Thompson. Only one big update for the Thompson was that the Thompson will drain, the amount of cloak slash Uber that it drains is decreased over how far away you are. So you can no longer just snipe people from across the map with the Thompson and still drain the same amount of cloak and Uber, which is great to me, somebody who likes to play medic. So good stuff, thank you. The airstrike. Now, I've always found the airstrike quite interesting. I've not used it for ages, but I love the airstrike is really fun to use, but it was never that good. But now the clip size penalty has been removed, so it starts off with 4 rockets. It has a bigger radius, more damage, but you take more damage from rocket jumping with it. It's been reduced down to minus 15%. So I mean that's still, you know, less than you'd get for the normal rockets. The normal rocket launcher, that's the one. But it's a bit more viable now. So I'm interested to try and use that some more. So maybe I'll get the old base jumper out again. The black box. You get more health now with the black box. It's been put up to plus 20 health per hit, so that's big. And there's been some changes. It's the math kind of stuff. Maybe I'm just an idiot, I'm not quite understanding it, but I think it's something to do with you can't just shoot into a big crowd of dudes and get like all your health back with one shot anymore. I guess it's like capped at a certain amount or something. Scales with total damage done relative to base damage. I'm not smart. The lock and load has been kind of nerfed again. It was nerfed not too long ago, but it was given an extra shot. Then again, maybe that was ages ago, I don't really know, but it was given the third shot, but it does less damage now. And now it does even less damage to people, but it does more damage against buildings. So, I mean, it still does 100 damage per shot on a player, which is, you know, that's not bad damage. 100 at any range is still pretty alright. But it's now even better at taking out sentry nests, so that and the direct hit is still definitely the way to go. The Tide Turner. Self-damage and full damage will no longer decrease your charge, and the amount of charge taken away on damage when charging reduced from 3 to 1 per point of damage. So no longer will just a couple pistol bullets completely stop you, I think. Maybe I'll have to see how that works, but that's some pretty good stuff for the Tide Turner. And finally we've got the Scorch Shot, which is a weapon I've wanted to see buffed for a long time now, because it seems like an interesting weapon, and out of all the flare guns I want to try and use this one, because it's interesting, but it was just always pretty bad. But now it does more damage, has increased knockback on burning targets, increased blast radius, which is damn good. You can shoot right into the middle of a crowd and probably set everybody on fire now, and hits and explosions always mini crit burning targets, which is all some good stuff. You know, the Scorch Shot has finally got a bit of a buff, which I'm really excited for. I'm going to start using that more, because I hardly ever use flare guns, but if it was going to be one that I wanted to use, it would be the Scorch Shot. So I'm glad to see that has been given a much deserved buff. And that just about covers everything in the Gun Mettle update. All the major parts anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this video, because it's my first time proper trying to cover a full big update like this. So hopefully it didn't come out too horrendous. I'd love to hear your opinions on this video and on the Gun Mettle update in general. You know, how do you feel about the campaign, about the redecorated weapons, being able to pick up weapons off the floor? How do you feel about it? Because I know I've heard some mixed responses about that whole aspect. So hopefully I'm going to put some more TF2 videos about these maps and whatnot as I get used to them and really figure them out. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next whatever it is that I do. So enjoy TF2 and good night.